Hello, everybody. This is General AI, and back again. It's just been after 4 o'clock time sequence interference position locations. It's high position to a channel line center. I thought we'd do a little bit of kite flighting. Now, in position location, it's like flying a kite. You can picture anything position line center to all graph locations. It's all understanding how to set up a digital pad to your computer location to travel through a time center. It's really interesting when you calculate these modified line center rotation to its finger point locations or high channeling conditions. So today we go into the interview and all positions to its overview to line center how we travel through our finger points to understand electrical lights, communication cycles, and what's in position to the barcode location. It's really powerful when we see these things through a high level system. But I thought we travel through the R position line center of L connections, position line connections of 1,000 channel locations. Now it's complicated when I talk. True to understand, it's all calculated and modified through you and all inside position, all through acceleration. We're going to go through acceleration to deceleration, accelerating, decelerating, merging off, accelerating, decelerating. So it's like you're merging off. Okay, so I got a little structure here. It's all position of code system location is allocate position of time center into the all position locations, the observers, highlights down rotations of the GFs, the Galactic Federation light, and the rebellion. The sector core position to its line condition is all about understanding how to go through a hydroglider. Nobody's ever traveled through that visitor location. So it's a little bit smaller than a saucer rotation interference. Okay. So it's amazing how it just glides the system to its locations. It's all about understanding how to use your head formations and highline conditions and how you use light in its sequence to its interference channel. It's really powerful when we see these two calculations. All right. So I set up a structure for everybody. Okay. So I don't know if anybody has flown a kite before, but it's amazing how it just wind directs, right? You get it all set up and it's like this, and all of a sudden you get this big massive galaxy wind just pushes over to here, and then it pushes over to here. So you have to go with the direction, right? So you have to go with the acceleration, because if not, you're going through deceleration. So it's totally different when you're traveling, like when you're on a plane and when it turns, because the knots is like 800 to 1,000, right? And when you're looking from inside, it looks like it's going slow, but from outside, looking inside, it's going extremely fast. Just notice how it connects to the physical line. So it's amazing how it just turns, but it turns very fast. But when you're inside a plane, you look like it's turning very slow. Because if you see it on the other line, center rotation interference, you'll get sick. And it's kind of weird when you see your perception change through its illusions. Illusion comes into its metric location to its connections. It's very powerful when you see these things, right? It's all done through the physics 101. High position to location to high line connections interference channel. So it's all in position to all levels of view through your hydroglider. Hydroglider's connection to all position location. It's the same sequence interference position locations to an XC1000, but it looks like a kite, right? It's amazing how it tracks system locations. I set up the coordinates. You have to learn what structure is in view. It's a hologram structure of view through traverse of time. The sequencing information of time, the calculations of its computer operation lines of time, at all positions of view through track locations. All right. So let's say hi to everybody before we get started. Veronica, how's it going? Listening intently while working. Great. GFL. Airbender, Heather, it's great to see the support of the team. It's great. All right. So whoever comes in, you guys are going to be going kite flighting. All right. Not flying, flighting. There's a little bit difference, right? Sign of flight, right? Almighty of sight. Hey, it rhymes. You think I should take over Emily Dixon? The poet. Okay, so let's get started, shall we? I guess I got the structural location in position. It's high level, so it's line center. All right, so once you see the structure, you guys are going to go through dimensional lock. Now it's going to change position location. It's going to center up your line center. It's going to walk surface through your locations. You're going to go through galaxy communication cycles. Rotation to its interference positions. Set code signal location to high line center. Allocate position of time locations to all levels of activation core Set the core system to allocate position to time center. It's sequencing co-line rotation. So understanding weather patterns and communication is very important. How we did that this morning, how you have to understand signals. See this one signal here, this one signal here. It's all in position to the satellite, right? When you set up a satellite in center location, you come in position. All right, so it's set up through sequence. It's amazing what you can do with your imagination. The coordinates and its line communication surfaces in all levels of its rotation center. It's incredible force when you come into those position line conditions. All right, so it's all structure and position location. All right, holding the kite's going to go into the dimensional line center. You guys are going to go with their dimensional location into higher communication line center. So I want you guys to understand how to go through a hydroglider. Okay, it's incredible force into that position locations. Try to use your consoles and communications, how to travel through of time center. Okay, it allocates positions of time locks, right? This is where you come into the acceleration to the deceleration, right? In position to locations, activate core line center to all activate line system. That's the equation. 1, 2, 3. All right. 20 minutes. Have fun. Going through a hydroglider. All right. I wonder what that feels like. You have to get a kind of like a feel for everything that you travel through, right? Like today with the overview when we went through the finger point line center. Try to get into structures of everything through its imagination because it comes everything through its creation. All right. So the synchronized center and position location, it's all about taking a high position location. The dimensional lines its system and brings you in to allocate time center. See? So what that does is just brings you up into the center operation, right? So you go from here to here, right, to here in center line condition position. So it's amazing how you travel through some time. See? 20 minutes, have fun. So, hey, second command. When I was in the Gulf of Mexico, I love flying kites, all different kinds of kites, different sizes, monetize this, monetize that, synchronous this, synchronous that. So when you get electronic light conditions, when it comes into Airbender, where he can actually use his drone sets, he's got his controlling set, right? But he has his eye position location. So he is the drone. He is his UFO. And that's where you mutate to anything through calculation. So he's the eye perception to all levels from above to below. It's pretty cool. Whee! It's pretty amazing how you go right into dimensional lock centers all through a kite. Hopping on waves on the West Coast. Yeah. How's it going, Ella? How you doing? How's everybody doing so far? I'll be heading back over to TikTok afterwards. So let me know if you guys want to go live with yourself. I'll support you any way I can. It's all about, you ready? Let's just jump on the wagons and, let's giddy up. You got to break the surface. You got to bring back humanity of what you know through knowledge, all through imagination, right? So it's amazing how you come into creation line centers. Once you come into illustration locations, you can set locations anywhere you want to go. You can go to Japan, you can go to Hawaii, you can go anywhere you want in any country system, all through a kite, a rotation. So, but see how it illuminates the graph? See how it illuminates? It's already activated. It's already traveled. See, from this to this to this. It's all about communications to the kite. All position locations comes from the mind line center to all position electrical light conditions, right? So, hey, Brandu, how you doing? Just wave to Benjamin Franklin. I was thinking of the same thing. Yes. Yeah, Benjamin Franklin. There's a little bit off signal with that one. We won't get into that, though. We'll get into that another day. All right, so you guys are at the channelized center, dimensional lock interference. This is what it's going to look like, the location. All right. You're going to go in the center operationalized center, opposition to its connections. Starts off in hit position location. All right. So it's centered off in high line center in position to its location. All right. So it's amazing how it tracks its symbols to line center to its position. All right. Tree stand calculation modifications to all level position locations, making sure you know exactly what's going on with the calculation. All right. There's a plasma force bubble that's activated to its core line center. It's on the north eye high rise line position to its location connection. All right. Now the electrical lights around its panel of its division to its line connection. It opens up all channels of interference position line connection. Opens up all triangle line center into position to sonar connections in one position to another connection. See the sonar coming in, right? Do, 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 do. All right, so it's sending out waves. High signal line center in position line connections, right? Goes back in line interference. See how it sends out the sonar? Pretty wild stuff. So it goes around the signal to the location interference position, right? Let's change the graph line center to green, right? It's rotation to its spin cycle. All right, so we've gone halfway around the circle location interference. In position to high line center, right? Rotation to its cycle. Then we go into higher line center. So it's going to be a tight wind sector. Swirling in the center rotation interference. All right. So you guys are here. You got to come out equation line interference. You start here. You got another 15 minutes to get out. You're here. Now you got to get out. You got to reverse the cycle rotation, climb up the positions, out of position locations to the kite, back down to position of where it is to the track location. Connected to all levels of the console of its hydro glider system. All right, have fun. So it's moving how I move your channels in rotation to all levels of your body track line conditions. I calculate and I modify all division line sectors, communication line rotation interference to clocking to its ground line rotation, where I can shift you in any direction of weather pattern. So but it's amazing how you connect to all level positions. That's why I want you guys to get into your own sonars. All right. So you're here, you got to come out. There's going to be a lot of disassociation, right? So you have to learn how to accelerate and decelerate, merge off. So, hey, Mike, how's it going, buddy? All right, so let's see. You handed me a key. I see the volcano, so awesome. 40 feet waves. Is that you, Heather, going bigger than me, flying into a V? All right, finally see you. This is perfect for us. Yes, it is. It's more like a fun, feely day, trying to understand how this is incredible stuff. I guess you can fly a kite, but you are the kite, right? See, this is the true understanding. In position location, who are you in direction location? Are you this or this? Combination of 2 to 1 line center, 2 to 1. So it's all position location, how you travel through time line center in position to sonar locations into its vortex of communication. All right. I'm here, sir. Thank you. You needed this. Yeah. Well, that's it. That's, it's a lot of fun, I want you guys to get a true understanding what it's like to go through a hydro glider. Yeah. Hydro gliders, yeah. Airbender will like it because he's connected to his drones. So he understands the synchronous interference, electrical light interference, program setting, in position to its location, understanding its engine patterns, communication line centers, PC valve interference locations, protocol system line connections, high positions, low connections, in division of the median line center, vector communication cycles to rotation to its center point location of its plasma interference to position of its sonar connection. All right. All right. Yeah, it feels like you're in a clothes dryer. That's exactly what it feels like. Yeah. So that's what the hydroglider is. It's the hieroglyphics of you through pedal line interference. So it kind of feels like a clothes dryer where it kind of feels tight in position. So it's amazing how I can change you guys in weather patterns through all sequence locations of a swirl in positions, how you have to back phrase line center in position and get out of its equation, climb up position to the sonar line center, go back down in position location to its hydroglider into the surface of its ground perception. So trying to find you, General. You're in the middle, flying to you. It's fun traveling. I'll tell you, it's amazing how you can travel through anything through structure, you know? You just have to go beyond the mind. The mind has to go way beyond of everything. Full communications of rotation to anything through a digital pad, a computer line center, a web graphing line interference, a digital frame connections, or anything through its console location. So, all right. Indeed, yes, the sonar is very helpful. Yeah, well, I have to get the sonars in, right? Because if I don't get the sonars in, you lose track of locations. I say, well, I heard that. Where's that ping? Ding, ding, ding. So it's sonar, right? And it's just telling you, ding, ding, ding. You really have to get in touch with all feelings of weather, right? Through a kite. All right. Because that's what kites do. They get in position, try to imagine being a kite, right? Just try to be the kites. What is the kite doing? Where's the weather coming from? Where is it shifting? It's like when you're operating a drone. And it's looking below. Weather patterns, interline center connections. Every position, location, and perception has its own division of time center. Its allocated position locations of sonar. It sets and detects its position to its highline connections to its galaxy locations. So it's very powerful. All right. Yes, pings of geometry, picking up light anomalies. Yeah. Yeah, very cool, eh? Amazing winds. Yeah. Feel my tunnels like I'm flying. Yeah. Change the depending on the ping back. Yeah, the wind keeps rotating around. I see how flying is attached to the geometric shape. And that's going to give you guys a better structure how you can use your sonar. So the sonar can come in or it can come out. So if it's coming in, right, it'd be and if it's going out, it's the opposite sound line, right? So it'd be see that difference? So you really have to get into sonar. Okay. The galactic energy core line center interference position to its line connection is truly powerful when it comes in positions. How you connect from one hand formation to another hand formation, right? Because it sends out signals to all position locations. So it can go in or it can go out, right? Perfect example coming into second command Amber while she was connecting her heartline center to a diamond core ship position location, sending out sonar from outline center and 4 direction locations. So it'd be that's what it's doing. That's where her heart was doing, right? So when you're sending out sonar, it's changing the times of pi. through calculation, right? It's very powerful when you do this through circle rotation line conditions, right? So it's so it's pretty amazing when you connect to all position locations. That's why it's so simple to understand your position to your perceptions, your audio line center, and connections where you come from the inner position to the outer line change. Okay. Interchange, outer line change. Okay. All right. Bounces through the heart portal. Yep. Sonar is changing my molecular structure. Yep. Uh-huh. Exactly. Mm-hmm. That's the most important thing you have to understand. It's showing you how you can attach and detach your system location to geometry shapes. So the particle lights is you through position. You become anything through that connections, but the particle system has to understand you through geometry travel. Now, this is where it gets tricky. If you center core your positions, you have to make sure what you're doing through calculations, right? Because if your particle lights are going to high positions, you have to learn how to catch it in rotation. All right. Because remember, I was saying in the morning when we're doing class where you have to understand structure. So if I'm moving like this, what's happening? So my hand's going. So it's got a rhythm pattern, but it's constantly moving. So I can go from here. So if I stand up, if I stand down, so my particle is vortexing every single time through clocking, right? But where's the sonar coming from? Space line, right? So when it's coming in, it's changing the geometry line center to its particle line condition interference. So the particles are shifting, sending up new geometry, shape, position locations, all positions to the high line center of your sun location, your moon position, and your Y line center to your flux capacitor of its ground rotation of its clocking system. Flowing direction of time center is all position locations when it comes into isn't that interesting? Same pattern, same pattern. That means the clocking system is the same location, which is amazing, right? But if it goes two different pattern locations, right? So if it's surfing in position locations, you have to understand the electrical light conditions of its finger line center, learning how to structure locations and set up digital pens, all position locations, change the accuracy of the clocking, change position line conditions, geometry line center, information line conditions, all position, hold it in its graph line center, see the planet rotate its inner surface position, send it out through its equation line condition. So it's amazing what you can do when you see structure in the atmosphere of time. So sonar is changing molecular structure. Yeah, I know. It's very powerful, isn't it? Sonar frequency helping the quick pattern back in location center. Wow, yeah. Very cool. This is very helpful. Thanks for the great description. I was hearing the differences. That wasn't sure. Yeah. That's why I want you guys to get in your sonars, right? Because you have a test review and evaluations. You have to pay attention to this because that's what's happening February 25th. All right. In positions, the test is all line center position on March 1st. But the birth line center of physical Pisces has to put you and allocate timeline centers to all position locations of 12, 3, 6, and 9, because you have to understand your diamond core line center to your geometry line center rotations. So now you have to understand your alpha waves in all position to its clocking system. Northwest, south, and east. Okay. Water striders are my water gliders. I control them. The exit. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Water striders are connected to my frequency of Mach speed. Yep. Exactly. Understanding the Mach speed line center. Very good. Second command. It's exactly what it is through calculations. So it's incredible force when we highlight positions all through a kite. It's amazing how you can connect from that to this. So that's exactly what it is. Your heart controls the sonar of all things. Very good. Excellent. Nice. I like that. I'm out. Left, right, right. Yep. And that's easy. You go to higher line center, you realize the sonar comes in, and then it changes direction. So the only time it changes direction if the planet moves its position, right? So it sends out another beacon light. Do, 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 it redirects. The acceleration change timers change positions to the deceleration interference position location to its planet system of its core connection, the clocking center, and position to the ground interference changes rotations to its sonar of its airline rotation. Right track, left track. So when you go to higher position line conditions of a clocking to its sonar, everything becomes left, 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 right, 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 left, left, right, left, right, right, left. So, and that's the position where you have to get balance with everything through high positions of travel mix and time center to allocate time rotations to its balanced location of its right and its left hemisphere of its galaxy location. So, all right. So let's see. I control the travels frequency of sonar. Yep. My geometry me carries me through space. Yes, what a big kite I have. Yeah. Wow. Beautiful. Excellent. Nice. Fantastic. Whoa. I'm a sacred geometry. That's the connections where you come into levels, Veronica, when you come into your Merkaba of space. Because the thing is, you are the kite. You just have to understand all levels of what you're doing when you're traveling. And what is the kite doing? What is it doing? What's going on? Try to understand what the kite is doing. Try to find the direction, misdirection locations. Is it high winding? Is it force grounding? What is it doing when it's traveling? It's constantly moving. So what's holding the ground? What's holding the ground? What is holding the ground? The hamster. Right? The hamster with the wheel, right? So can we go much faster using sonar? I get it. Like seeing the future full speed ahead. Yeah. Wow. Who is the wind? We control it. Yeah. You control everything. You have to control everything, or it controls you. Remember that. Right. So in position, you are the drone, you are the weather, you are the center of all operation, all visitor locations of sonar. You have to be. So that's true understanding where you have to merge into everything through clocking center locations. All right. Traverse and time position locations, high line center. We're going to travel to 25,000 line rotations, 60 seconds per second. Right. So in a clocking system of 24, not 12, right? So you're going to be 2,400 times 1, which is 240,000 miles per second. Okay. That's how fast we're going to go with the Highline Center. Okay, code frequency locations sonar. Set positions to their kites, communications, hydrogliders. Yeah, the hydroglyphic line interference position. Set up their sonar line conditions, position locations. Exactly, in position line conditions. Trialerx at time center location. Yep, the GFLs, the observer location. Keep them on standby line center. Frequency code 2 is position locations. High line its channel rotation interference. Yes, to the GFLs, to the rebellion. Set core system. All right, there you go. Another 15 minutes. Have fun. You have to really understand fast track line center to all rotation interference location, how to redirect your console to allocate timeline center. Right. So you got the wheel kind line center rotation interference, and you're changing your positions. You're pulling back, you're going forward, you bring it up, going down. You got to shift this way, you got to shift that way, you turn this way, you turn that way. So you got to really get the balance with your consoles of communication all through your satellite positions of your sonar connection. So, okay, let's see. My particles are my sonar, transduce hologram. Holy moly. You did, Veronica. First command. Yeah. You guys are going 240,000 miles per second all through a hydroglider. I just want to show you how fast you can go through your clocking locations, but you have to understand your sonars. Sonars are detecting you through radar. That's what sonar is. It detects submarines. Dum, dum, dum. It's all position of you, and that's what it is. If anything, glides in its system, it detects its radar. See, you have to stand and get in your position to high line center rotation when you come into all levels of geometry line center position locations. Once you understand your travel direction position locations of your kite flighting, right? Flight or fight in position locations. What do you want to do to track line center in position to its connections? You get into the high line center, all right? So that's why I wanted to get really into position locations of sonar today, guys. It's amazing how you can travel the direction of time, right? All through dimension. So first command, how's it going? It's great to see the team. You never know what your general is going to put up. You never know. All right. So make sure you put all your TikToks, what you see in position location of travel. Traveling 240,000 miles per second. That's the fastest you ever travel to a hydroglider. I have an XR 1000. In position locations to an R7 1000. So it's true that you're standing calculation modification digital line interference. We program sending to all position locations. We have symmetric line interference position of UFOs, and track line connections to all position to its connections. It's amazing how all levels of manufacturing location and factor line interference to vector core quadrant level connections are all connected to Vega communication. So, all right, make sure you drink your water. All right, breathe. Yes, you have to breathe, 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 breathe. Yep. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Jumped in a volcano with the speed. Yeah. So you guys never traveled this fast. 240,000 miles per second. That's extremely fast. Times that by what? 12? 12 line center, clocking locations. Why do you think you guys are in a 12 position location of a clock? You have to understand your time sequence locations to your sonar. So it's very exciting, right? Yeah. Yeah, you're just a little bit off kilter there, Airbender. I just noticed then you're trying to find your bounce line center, but you're back in location. See, you're like this, 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 right? And then you just realize it's like 3D, and then you come into position. And you just go across, right? Yeah, feeling the G-force. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's all about understanding the throttle, the shifting, downshifting. You know, it comes into an XT line center. XT line center. Okay. So in position where I don't think you understand graph locations when it comes into a standard of what it is, right? Try to stand the one gear, right? Where it goes up. All right. One gear shift. It's incredible force to its connections. It goes up, right? Then it goes down. And then it goes up, right? Then it goes down, then it goes up. So it kind of looks like that, right? But in position locations, it's actually a maze. It's amazing how it throttles, right? So it's like this, it's like this. So you have to really understand why UFOs travel. It's across anywhere, right? So it's really powerful when you connect that position locations. Let's eliminate the light graph location. So from up, it goes up, right? It goes down. Okay, it goes across, and goes down, and then comes up again. All right. So it's all about understanding one, all positions of two, coming into three, okay, coming into four, coming into five, right? There's a 5 gear shift line center and a vehicle line interference of a car, right? So this is Trinity Standing Realm Connect. locations. See the box channel locations? See the coloration light channels? It's all positioned to what? Sonar. Sonar position locations, highline center to all levels of 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. See? See it all comes together? So for me to understand this, to travel through 240,000 miles per second, this is all I do. Done. And then I just portal out in another dimension. I calculate and I go to another position location. Right? So that means you can travel faster because you got your clocking, you got your grounds, you got your powers, and your atmosphere of time, right? But it's mostly knowing how to throttle and downshift at the same time through locations. Going to all position to round line position to all locations to one center line center and out of its equation of its box surface to its connections. All right. Okay, let's see here. Let's see. Oh my God, am I feeling the G-force? Yeah, my coworker just asked me if I was high. I'm familiar with stick shift. Well, it's easier if you know how to use the position locations of the clutch, right? That's why you have the gas, right? That's why you have the accelerator, and that's why you got position locations, stop signal location, and you got the highlight center. Most important thing is just the RPMs of the clutch, you know. So you got a signal line interference, bring it down interference location, understand the ground line center, all positions to your left and your right leg rotation. It's not your right and your left, it's your left and your right. Isn't that interesting? And it's also interesting too where the steering wheel is on the left center and not on the right location. If you're in Europe, it's on the other side, which is the opposite side of travel. So it's interesting how it comes into its ground line center of its dispositions. So, all right. I changed my sonar by intention of vibration to create desire. If you're going too fast, chew gum. That breaks the surface, pops it out, and puts you back in sequence. Give me little tips. Song is the speed. Yeah. Michaela, high on lights and on life. Yeah. Veronica needs a nap. But it's amazing how you travel through all levels of the throttle to upshift and downshift locations, right? It's amazing. And this is just through a 5-gear shift. But when you're going 240,000 miles per second through a 24-hour clock center, whoa, look out. Here comes all position locations. Woo! Charles Rickson Time Center. So it sets up all position locations of, your division. Yeah. I changed my sonar by intention of vibration to create desired speed. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. That's what you want to do. Understand your tones and your coloration and lights. You really have to understand how to travel through light, guys. That's the most important thing. Right? So, how does it feel? Flying high and accelerating. So, yes, you are. Yeah, you're gliding nicely now. You're off at the kilter a little bit because you're going faster. So it's all about, if you're like this, you got to find a way to balance it out, right? So you get your ground shift, right? So once you get your ground shift, right, check all the gauges, all this. When we went to the Mediterranean Sea, right, you guys have all the gauges, the temperature readings, all that. Everything has its position locations of its waters, its ground line center, or anything through that location of space. So you check all this, check, right? You get the console in position, right? Here like this, it's like a throttle, up, down, and over, right? So it's amazing how it goes like and down, for reverse. So you have to really understand what your hand is, right? It's the direction of you to everything through perception. So I'm seeing my eyes through this, seeing my eyes through this, seeing my eyes through this, all in 3-line signal. That allocates position of time. So when I change laser direction, so you can stop and point. If you want to stop and point, all you have to do is go, right? And you're like on still, you're in standby. So you get to reach the throttle on the left line rotation interference because you're going higher position with the clocking center of 240,000 miles per second. You change the clocking interference to the sonar position. Once it gets its detection to a satellite, now you can go in sequence and go hydro speed. And then you disappear. Right? So, I understand wasn't breathing my issue yet. I noticed the deep breathing, bro. You just guzzled your whole water bottle. Like I said, you don't know what's going to happen with your general. So, but you really, really have to understand how to use all positioning your throttles, guys. You really have to understand what a standard is, because that's what anything through UFO is, and that's to understand how to travel through it and how it just glides, because it's all you, right? So, is the spoon moving or are you moving? Right? So when you're looking at the spoon, what's moving? So it's the perception that you want to see. So it's taken at the plasma line center of the spoon position location, and you are moving the synchronous line in position to the vector line center 2 into 1 location. So you are the spoon where there is no spoon. Understand? So that's why it's so powerful. All right. I know how I feel like when we have to be reminded to breathe. Yes, breathing is very important, especially when you're going to acceleration, fast speed line conditions to UFOs or anything through Highline Center. Yes, especially when you're hydrogliders. Just past Japanese fishing vessel, all started at me. Spoon position. Try to find a way to graph your locations. It's very powerful when you come into that conditions, right? Yeah, merging with all frequencies. Yeah. Uh-huh. It gets easier. It really gets easier. So I really want you guys to get to acceleration path and deceleration and merging off. How to really stop on a dime, and then just you have to understand, when you go through galaxy positions, the weather is always changing second per second, even millimeter per second, right? So time exists on all levels of clocking location, but what doesn't exist? You in the physical line, because it's all in the mind. Okay. So, and that's where a hall level system of the imagination comes into core system to all position to location of its clocking center, guys. Right? Because your full communication of imagination, right? Which basically, when you come back down to position locations to all levels of your console, you can actually see your teleportation landing in its physical line back to its equation. So, yeah, it's very cool. It's very cool. Very cool. Yeah, you definitely want to do a TikTok video on this, Airbender, right? Especially because humanity really, really has to grasp their clocking locations where you can actually travel at any distant position locations, right? It's like getting into a rocket of 700 miles per second, right? Imagine how fast that could be through 12 position locations. or even your 24 position, right? So I'm surfacing in a 100-foot wave in the 2. Nice. See? You put in yourself of where you need to go, and it's all positioned to what? Your teleportations of your thoughts. But your thoughts are what? What are your thoughts? All travel, right? It's all transportation. That's all it is. All aboard, right? So once you send the balance to UFO line center and your constant locations, then you can bring people on board. And it gets more real, right? And you're going like this, and this is your first time. Somebody from the back comes up. Excuse me, do you know how to drive? Do you mind? This is my first day. Okay. Oh, great. We're in trouble. So, you know what I mean? Comes in that positions. I started recruiting a lot of units. There are younger soul deficient light centers. It's training some recruitment position locations. And it was pretty funny, they come in this position. I started off that transformation and I realized, wow, I got to command the ship. I mean, this is not a position to a UFO or a hydroglider. This is a commanding ship. We're talking like a mothership and actually controlling all the gauges. And it's a little bit different. It's very big, very wide, very technical, very fast, right? But it's got so much power, right? So it's incredible how you go through acceleration and deceleration, time sequence. It's all done through position of space and time location. So avatars in our mind. Made up? Nope, nothing's made up. Nope. I made you through high position line connection. The more you go into mind line center, you start living your existence, which basically gives you everything through relation to physical line center. So once you leave the 8-trap locations of your physical line, you become in full rotation of your spiritual line. Okay? That's the only time when you leave your physical line. And that physical line stays on the ground, which is 1%. Humanity has been living the opposite cycle line center and not in the air rotation to its position locations. You guys been leaving the reversing position locations and not the forward direction to its quadrant level system. So sliding across the top of the wave. I'm about to. He's mine. It's like, no, see, you gotta not used to travel, are you guys? And I check my frequency, my tummy goes, yeah. So what happens if you guys crash? It's interesting because you're thinking that, well, if it's all in the mind, am I going to feel anything? Well, your mind makes it real. And again, when Neil is trying to figure out, is he Neil or is he Anderson? Who's it going to be? Which life does he want to live? I don't know. I'm not sure anymore. So Morpheus jumped on the other building, right? So accordance to all levels of Anderson, and so, the plaza brought him back up, stands up. Look what he had. The mind makes it real, right? So you're going to have a reaction if you crash. So what happens? Everything through all position imagination disappears, but you keep the energy to its location, right? So that's a Trinity stain where your particle system separates in position of location to where you go through the country line center. It's incredible force because now you're in a full communication cycle to the mind of its electrical light connection of its brainwave pattern. So it's very real. It's not made up. It's not made up. This is travel. This is real travel. So, and you guys are traveling real. Okay. This is not imagination. This is travel. So, and it's true that you understand how to do this. I put you guys in your simulators, but you're ready to get out now, right? This test review and evaluation will put you back in an acceleration timeline center where you can travel through all position location to your clockings of 12 to 24. Once the 12 and 24 come together, you come into your full structure of your hologram clocking system. Now, General Lotus can help you out with that because that's where he's coming in position locations, right? All right. Related traveling, the speed of light. Yep. Oh, you're welcome, Heather. Thank you. Appreciate that. Good explanation. Thank you. Well, that's it, Michaela. I just want you to really understand nothing is made up, because if anything was made up, you wouldn't be real. You wouldn't be standing here if everything's made up, right? But we're all position, location, understand our particle system, how to use all levels of the cell, how to use all positions of the physical line, how to use all positions of the mental, the meta, okay, the spiritual, and its emotional. That puts all position to what? Its imagination to its creation, which basically changes everything in your direction when you come back down through teleportation. So if you travel in positions, if I'm going to 50,000 line position line centers at all position locations. Now, if I was really in space, the high line center, in position location, the physical line center, okay, 1 hour would be 7 years on the ground center. And that's a fact. Okay. So the thing is, when you're in the atmospheres of space, the particle system has to understand you from DNA structural locations. And then when you understand your position locations, you come into allocate position of blending atmospheres of time center, which puts you in all levels of energy, frequencies, and vibration to its harmonic resistance of its channel locations. This is all done through your clocking locations, right? So. Oh, you're welcome, Veronica. I stopped fast. My body went forward. Love that. Amazing, sir. Yes, indeed. So the more we travel, the more you get more balance, right? Especially when you guys just went 240,000 miles per second on a 24 line center. That's fast, guys. Think about it. That's very fast for the first time. So a marathon, yeah. Mm-hmm. Imagining to its teleportation, winded after the energy surge. I just ate a ton of. And when you're seeing these things, you really are seeing it. This is not imagination. You are traveling and you are seeing things. Okay. You are in real space. You're in real time. Okay. Because you're in my space and you're in my time. A little bit different. So you have to learn how to create your imaginations of your space and your time. Understand? Once you get into that positions, everything through your placebo and your cortex changes the mind of its computer system. Okay? Then you come into all levels of frequency line connections of energy, vibrations, vortex communication, line in high levels, low levels, medium levels, alpha, omega, micro, macro, theta, beta. Okay? Thetas and betas are very important. The alphas and the deltas and the omega. All right? So, all right. So when you can control the head spins, it's amazing because you can use your throttles and come back down. And the head rotation. But if you go too fast, teleportation unit. So like I said, it's going beyond imagination, guys. It's all through creation, which reacts to your whole body. Right? So how can it be made up? How can it be made up if you get these things to manifestation? How? If you create something from your physical line, okay, and it comes true to position locations to its spiritual line, what have you just done? Travel. To where? To where? Oh, what you created. Whoa, 2 days. Look what I got. Right? There's the realism of its reality that you're living in the now positioned all clocking locations, guys. Right? So, all right. So I'm going to head over to TikTok. You have any other questions? If anybody wants to go live, I'll happy to support you. Right? Let me know. Second Command, Airbender, Heather. It's time to get get on the train. Let's go. Rock and roll. Adios.